Woke CEOs once again thinking they know best when it comes to what's good for society. The guy who runs personal hygiene brand at Unilever, big fan, says anyone who isn't on the woke train is destroying the world.
Stating the obvious that we have an emergency, we have a climate emergency, is becoming an unpopular thing to do. This anti-sustainability backlash, this anti-woke backlash, is incredibly dangerous for the world. And the first thing that Unilever will do is we will not back down on this agenda, despite these populist accusations.
And it doesn't stop there. Woke companies are stealing a page from Biden's COVID playbook. Call anything a crisis to get cash. Watch.
But first recognize it's a crisis. And, you know, just how we found, is it 14 or 17 trillion for COVID? The money must be there somewhere.
The money must be there somewhere. It's our money.
It grows on trees.
Right.
Did you hear? That's something happened.
That's why they're pro-climate, so we get more trees.
Exactly. We need more trees so we can get more money. ESG forces companies to prioritize political causes over their shareholders. That's what it does. And there's a lot of commentary now about the E part of ESG, the environmental part. But I think the S, the social part, is also really interesting because, for example, if a company does not doesn't allow for reimbursement of travel for an abortion, the employees of that company might declare it a hostile work environment, and then in the ESG guidelines, you can get docked, and that hurts the company. Or you're like Delta Airlines, and you take a ridiculous position about the Georgia voting law because you don't want to get docked, even despite the facts. So I think that there's a lot to be said here about investing in a way that protects the environment and is good for the, well, I guess the shareholders. But the whole idea of the social notion of it and the environmental piece of it is really, I think, leading us down a path where you have corporations then that will be speaking for the left, even if they don't want to.
Did my people at Delta do something we don't like? I'm going to talk to the CEO about it.
No, Delta's a good company.
That's right. Yes, they are.
Who's the question going to?
It's going to you, Judge.
Okay, good. All right. Look,
You ready?
Here's the bottom line. Companies should be concerned about their bottom line. They have a fiduciary responsibility to their shareholders, to their bottom line. And all this other stuff, they may feel good about it. It has nothing to do with the bottom line. So don't interfere with my ability to make money. I'm not going to buy any stock in your company. I'm not even going to buy your products anymore with this woke nonsense. And a perfect example is Disney's public approval plummeted from 77% to 33% when they decided to get involved in the Don't Say Gay law in Florida. Now, why? Why? That's none of their business. It has nothing to do with their company because they let a few employees try to determine what the company's going to do in a social and environmental way. Government is about the bottom line and nothing else.
They make Lever 2000, I hear, the soap. It's the last time I use Lever 2000. I'm going to vote with my personal hygiene products.
Vote with my soap.
Vote with my soap. How did I not know that one?
So when it's interesting to me when Republicans don't like something that goes about talking. No. You call it woke. When Democrats don't like something that's being said or that's being done, they want to cancel it. We all got to take a breath here and take a step back. Because in the context, the way we talk about these things, both Elon Musk and Steve Jobs, who I think are the greatest business visionaries of my lifetime, would have probably been called woke or been attempted to cancel. Musk wanted to make electric cars. And I differ with Dana. I have a little different point of view about ESG, about the environmental and social and the governance piece. I don't think it's all political. I think there's something to be said for it. But under your analysis, you'd have called Musk woke. You might have called Steve, because Musk said we're going to take the combustible engine and make it obsolete. We're going to do something different.
But he made profit. That was his company.
I know, but it's still, this guy's saying, look, I'm not here to, but I'm just saying, look, we all got to take.
Here to argue.
we got to take a step back here. Jobs, who revolutionized the way we buy and consume groceries, music, other entertainment content. He might have been called woke. He might have been, someone might have tried to cancel him because they didn't like how easy or how free it might have been. All I'm saying is some people deserve to be called woke. Some people deserve to be canceled. But before we quickly and just reflexively do it, I think we ought to just take a breath, everybody, Democrats, Republicans, independents alike, and assess things without the political lens that I think we all seem to conveniently and reflexively
If
do.
Elon Musk wants to start a company for electric cars, he should be able to do
Well,
it.
he
He is
did.
not
He's
taking,
the richest man in the
he's
world.
not taking a company and
The red herring.
changing it. Go ahead.
The important thing here is to define what we're talking about, and Dana got to it, but I just want to expand it because people at home probably don't know what ESG is, right? It stands for environment, social, governance, issues, and it's a corporate policy that's being instituted in some companies, mainly large companies, because they can shoulder the burden that small companies can't. This policy exists independent of its shareholders and its customers. It actually gets between them, right? It shifts the attention onto social justice and climate issue. Again, to your point, putting politics over profits. So if I were a shareholder, I would be livid. I would sell my stock immediately. I would only invest in companies that do not participate in this. There's another little uglier part going here. Unilever is like a really, really, really wealthy person who brags about giving to charity, even though it's a tiny percentage. They never give enough to feel it. So what they're asking and demanding of other companies, they can't do. So all these big giant companies, they are virtue signaling. They're saying, look how good we are. We care about social issues. And we care about, they're only doing it to cover their asses. And we know that. That's all the woke corporate policy is to keep the activism out of their front and backyard. This is a virtue signal, just like a super expensive graduate degree is for a wealthy person, a wealthy dumb person who wants to buy a degree so they look super smart. That's all this is. This makes them look compassionate. It's like a six-figure liberal arts degree that a rich kid gets, and then they get their debt canceled, and we end up paying. That's what ESG is. ESG is simply a corporate policy that hurts the shareholder and the customer. Don't forget that, because they don't want you to know that. They want you to remain confused.
Can I add one thing? So, and then you get a score. So your company gets a score, and they'll put that on their LinkedIn, right? Or so for younger employees that want to come work at the company, say, well, our ESG score is a 98. Like, oh, well, wow.
Yeah.
Man, they must be amazing.
It's a virtue signal.
Yes, exactly.
It's a pure virtue. I'm sure Fox isn't doing this, right, Jesse?
I hope not.
Because
Especially
if they are,
after today.
I changed my mind. This is the greatest thing.
Are you saying we have to give so much to charity that it hurts?
Yes.
I never heard that before.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.